Hello, my friends. Very excited to be here with you again tonight. Actually, up front, I'm going to tell you I'm not actually here, not live. I'm pre-recording this one today because it's my wedding anniversary and we'd like to go out tonight. So the magic of technology, excuse me, the magic of technology means that we can record these things ahead of time, and this is going to be playing to you tonight at 7:30 as per usual. But even though I can't talk to you live and I can't answer your questions as you ask them, please still ask them, because I will go back through the comments later and answer any outstanding questions, anything that anyone needs to know. Also, you can talk to each other in the chat, so that's still going to be the same as always. So I look forward to coming on and reading all your comments later. So thank you very much for being here. I'm going to get started pretty quickly because obviously that's the whole point of having to pre-record, is I need to make the most of my time. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to start by bringing my phone in. My phone is my camera for my desk, and I'm just going to switch over to that. All right, there we go. All right, so you can see I've got cables everywhere. There we go, that's better. All right, so I am using a set out of here tonight. This is a set that I borrowed from Ellen because I don't actually have this set, and you're going to find it on page 51 of this catalogue. It's called Rain or Shine. And let me just show it to you before we start. Okay, there are dies that match stamps for this one. Okay, and you can see them right here, the stamp set and then the matching dies are shown here on page 51. I like that you've got several these three dies cut out these three characters, okay, and these guys here cut out. This is actually, even though it's three clouds, that's actually one stamp, and then there is a die to cut those out as well. There's also even a little die for the umbrella. And you've got little butterflies and all sorts of other fun things that that you can do with this. Okay, even this little guy here cuts out these little flowers, little daisies. Super fun set, right? Really, really cool. But not only does it cut out the images here, but we have this fabulous Rain or Shine paper, the DSP. It is a specialty DSP, and I've just got one piece of it here. Now, hopefully you can see in the light that there is like a shine on some of these characters. Can we see? Okay, look, there's a bit of shine on the bunny shirt up there somewhere. Let me see if I can get it to sit just right. There we go. You see the shine. So they're clear embossed part of these images, which is really lovely. But what is really cool is that these dies also match these. Now, can I just talk about that for a second? When you have DSP that matches dies, that doesn't mean to say that every image in the DSP can be cut with dies. It usually means only one or possibly two designs in the pack. And that means there's 2 sheets of each design. So you've got a couple of sheets at least in each one if they're going to be matching. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly cut out. I just want to cut out one of these so I've actually got it ready to go. I'm just going to cut it. Oh, I just dropped it on the floor. Oh my goodness. Here it is. Found it. All right, so I've just cut it out really roughly because then I can get my die and I can cut it out more precisely. And this saves you so much time cutting out by hand, okay? If you're someone who doesn't love cutting out by hand, then dies are your friend. Dies and punches, actually. So let me move these out of the way. This paper is beautiful. It's a specialty paper because, like I said, there's something special about it. And in this case, you can see I've been playing on here with watercolors and things. In this case, it's actually the clear embossing. Sometimes it's other features of the paper that make it specialty, but either way, it's a lot of fun to play with when you've got something a little bit special. So I'm going to use my Boho Blue mini cut and emboss machine. I have to tell you, I learned something about this this week, and something that you might find interesting to get a better result when cutting with any die machine, any cut and emboss machine, but particularly with the mini one. Sometimes the plates don't slide through easily, especially if you've had them for a while and they start to get a bit of a bow to them. Found out one of the reasons why. Okay, when you before I put this together, Okay, so when you do your sandwich, what you're meant to do is, okay, you have your, I've always been lining up my plates so they all, I thought this is how I was supposed to do them. Okay, so I always put them through so all three plates, the platform and the two clear plates, all line up together. Okay, however, what they've instructed us to do, they did a bit of training with us recently on one of our Facebook groups from Stampin' Up. And what they suggest you do is that you run it through the end that goes through first. So just say this end is going through first. You want to run it through like an E. And what that means is the platform at the bottom, you want to have that out, then the next one slightly in, and then you put your paper and your die here, and then your last one lines up with the base plate. Now I hope you can see what I mean by this. So you've got the long one, then in, and then out. It makes an E shape. Can you see that? So the top and the bottom are longer, and the one at the bottom is a little shorter. And what this does, it means it grabs it here and flexes a little bit so it goes through more easily. It actually makes a lot of sense. So I had never had that explained to me before, and I'm wanting to share it with you so that you can get a little bit of a better result with it as well. And it particularly works well with the smaller cut and emboss machines, but you can use it with your bigger one as well. So I never knew that. Did anyone else know that? So you want to make an E with the end of your plates. If that doesn't make sense, we'll cover it again in another live session. How about that? So I've got this going. I want to put this on so that the plate is, like I said, more like an E. It lines up with the platform. Okay, then I roll it through. You'll see that the handle starts to move, and then I grab the handle and it goes through without any hassle whatsoever. All right, so I hope that's useful to someone. It's a really good tip and something I learned, and that's partly why I do these videos, so I can help you guys get the best value out of your products by knowing good tips and good ideas. Okay, so I hope that's useful. All right, so now I've cut my little bunny. And how much easier was that than having to sit down and cut it all out by hand? Okay, he's super cute. Isn't he fun? I love him. He looks so happy. All right, so I'm going to put that to one side, put the die back where it belongs. And now I'm going to do a cute background. All right, I've got a piece of what we're going to need for this card. I've got a piece of basic white thick. This is going to be my card base. I'm just going to fold it and then set it aside until I'm ready to use it. So let's push that down. I've got a bone folder here to squash that down as well. Set that aside. All right, then I've got a piece of watercolor paper. All right, so I'm going to have a bit of fun with this today. I want to create a stripy background with my watercolors, and I want it to look watercolored. I don't want it to, I want the edges to be fuzzy. I don't need it to be perfect. And what I did was I picked some of the colors out of the DSP, the paper that we're using. So our little bunny is wearing an old olive shirt, actually with flowers on it. Can you see that? Very cute. The one I did recently, the bunny was wearing, because the bunny's wearing different colored shirts. Let's see here. This one's wearing a pink shirt. This one's wearing a blue shirt. The one we're using is using a green shirt. So they've got different colors. But this one today is green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stripy background, and to do this I'm actually going to be using my water painters. Now the water painter that I want to use, what have I done with it? Goodness me. Really? Did I put it down? Why do I lose things so quickly, guys? I put this out before this class. So, I mean, I can get out another one. That's not a problem. Oh, here it is. Found it. Oh, right here in front of me all the time. All right, so I'm going to be using this brush, which is one of the water painter set. When you buy the water painters, they come like this, 3 in a set, and you get a thin or a fine one, a medium point, and then you get the big fat brush like this. All right, so it's this one never used to be in the old water painters. It's a nice addition, and it means you can do some fun things with it. So I'm going to be using these colors in no particular order. So I'm going to start opening them up, and I'm going to use some blocks, and I'm going to actually dip my blocks in the colors. All right, so this one's my green. I've got mango. So I've got old olive. I've got mango, mango melody. I've got flirty flamingo. So these are literally just colors from the paper pack. So I'm using the same colors that they have used. It's actually a really good trick if you're not sure about what color combinations are going to work. Turn to the DSP, because the DSP, you can bet your life it looks wonderful, and it's been you know, tried and true. It's been used before, and you know it's going to be good. All right, so I have got a water spritzer here. I'm just going to move those out of the way for a second because I don't want them to get wet. Well, they will get wet when I'm ready, but I'm using a water spritzer. Spritzers are fantastic. They're $5.75 here in Australia for a pack of 2, and you just fill them with water. They unscrew here, pop water straight from the tap, screw it back on, and then you can use it to do all kinds of different things. So I'm going to use it in this case just to wet my watercolor paper. I don't need it to be super wet. I just want it to be damp. Okay, there's a little bit of water pooling on that. That's great. That's as much as I need. And then I've got my water painter brush here. The paper will bow up a little bit. Don't let that worry you. Okay, I'm going to squeeze it so the bit of water comes out, and I'm going to start here with the green. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make sure my brush is well and truly saturated. I'm just going to drag it across. All right. Now we might want to do that a couple of directions just to make sure we're getting, and like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. We want it just to, we just want it to be a bit of color. So I'm going to run that off on my scrap paper until it's not green anymore, and then I'm going to pick up the yellow. And once again, I'm going to make sure there's some water coming through, and we're going to use that across. All right. Now you can see a bit of water's come in here. Don't let that worry you. It's going to run because we sprayed it first. If you don't want it to run like that, then don't spray it first, and you'll get a different effect. I want to get the water, the yellow off that. So just squeezing it and running it off, and then I'm going to pick up the next color, which in this case is Flirty Flamingo. All right, and I'm going to It's quite light, as you can see, but if you want to darken it up, you can go over it. And the color will run a little bit, and that's fine. All right, so the Flirty Flamingo is mostly off that. Now I'm going to pick up the blue. This is Balmy Blue, which is a light kind of a color. Whoop, got a bit of pink on that then by accident. If you want more color, like that's very light, that blue, so I'm actually gonna do a second one, add some more. If you don't squeeze the water through your brush as much, it will be a bit darker. There we go, just like that. I'm not too worried about this. That may end up being where my little bunny is going to go, so I'm not worried about that. Right, let's get that blue off, and I'm going to go back to the green, and I'm going to do a row of green down the bottom here. A bit more. There we go. It's looking cool. Right, like I said, if it runs too much for you, don't worry. Now I'm actually going to use my my heat tool to dry this off. I might, if I was not doing this for a video, I might just let it dry normally, but that's kind of totally up to you. The only thing is, when you use a heat tool, it tends to bow your cardstock, or in this case watercolor paper, a little bit. So you'll notice I turn it over the other way to flatten it. So let's just do this first. I'm just going to run over the back. This will flatten it down a little bit. Okay, it's looking nice. Okay, I like the stripes. The stripes are looking really cool. And you can see they're very easy to do. All right, so I've got here, I've got my little bunny, and I have a couple of, I hadn't decided which size vellum circle I wanted to use. And that's one possibility. That's the bigger one. Or I can go with the smaller one. Oh, I think I want the bigger one. The bigger one looks better. Right, so this, and then I can choose what color I want to have going here onto the vellum circle. And in this case, I've decided to go with the balmy blue because I think that'll look really nice behind my little bunny. So what I'm going to do is I've got, this is one of the new mini. Let me just show you the difference. This is the mini one, and this is the normal sized blending brush. You can see it's a lot smaller. This is great for getting into small areas. If you love blending brushes, then you might want to get yourself a pack of these and then just keep them for when you need little areas. And it's handy. I mean, on a big circle like this, I could do it with my bigger one, but I'm just going to do it with the smaller one because I'll just be able to get a slightly better result, I think. So I'm just going to hold this down, start in the middle, and I'm going to add some colour. Just going to try and get as much blue on that as I can because I just want some blue poking out from behind Mr. Bunny. I think that'll look nice. Oop, there goes my circle. Right, I think that's just about enough. It's starting to colour up really nicely. As you can see, I've been playing on here this afternoon, so I've got quite a bit of smushy kind of colour on my grid paper here. So this little bunny now is going to go on this circle. It's looking really cute. All right, let's pop it on. So I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals behind here. All right, 1 and 2. And I might just do easy use as well, so they're not gonna sort of, they're not going to move around too much. I'll make sure he's properly anchored down. Let's see. All right. That's very cute. Isn't that cute? And then I would like, you can put that straight down, but you know, in this case, I'm going to throw some dimensionals behind it. But it is totally up to you if you would like to use some Tombow or seal to pop it flat down. And that's just going to go there like that. He's such a happy rabbit. Don't you think he's happy? Looks really happy. All right, so before I put my greeting on, I'm just going to put this in the center of my my white, basic white that we folded earlier. I do love DSP that matches dies, but like I said, just be aware if you're buying any for that reason, it's not every sheet in the pack. Okay, I'll show you this full pack in a minute. Oh, and also before, you saw me use the Boho Blue mini cut and emboss machine. That is a special deal right now for joining Stampin' Up as a demonstrator. If you've ever thought about joining, now is an amazing time to do it because it's a really, really good deal, okay? The good deal will be basically if you spend $169, remember this is in Australia, so if you're elsewhere, your prices will be different, but $169 here in Australia will get you $315 worth of products. Now that's until the end of February. It's a really, really good deal. It's always a good deal to join, but it's even better at the moment. Then in addition, if you want even more, you can spend, instead of the $169, you can spend $210. You'll still get the $315 worth of product, but you'll also get a mini cut and emboss machine. So you can get either the white one or you can choose the blue one. Now the white one is always available. You can buy that anytime. It normally retails for $110. However, the blue one is only available until the end of this month. Okay, so we are counting down on this special. If you would like that special, then I would strongly suggest you speak to your demonstrator, or if you haven't got one of those, then reach out to me and we'll get you sorted. We'll get you all worked out. Okay, so I'm going to put, I'm just wondering which die to use. In this beautiful stamp set, we have a couple of really cute ones. We have Oh Happy Day. Now that would, I'm wondering if this Rainy Days Are Better with you will fit on here. It might not. It might not. I might need to cut a bigger label because I do like the Rainy Days Are Better With You sentiment. I think that's really cute. So let me pop that. I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. And because my bunny is outlined in black, I'm actually going to use black. If he was not outlined in black, I wouldn't use black for the sentiment. So it really does depend on your other elements. You don't want to have a black sentiment all by itself with nothing else black on the piece. It just doesn't look right. All right, that looks okay. All right, there we go. So let me have a look and see what dies will work well for this. I've always got, there are no label dies in this set. I mean, there's a gorgeous bridge, but that's not going to help us. So, yeah, the dies in this set don't include labels for sentiments, but I've got lots of other sentiment sets that do. Now, I'm wondering about this one. Rainy Days Are Better With You. That might be the go. That looks like it will work really well. This is a banner from the Stylish Shapes dies, which are my absolute favorite dies. Totally love them. They're so good. All right, so let's pop this here. I'm just going to cut this out because I want it to fit through. So for it to fit through my cut and emboss machine, I need it to be a little smaller than what it is, because obviously it's narrower than the big one. So I'm just cutting it down a little bit, and let me pull it in again. And once again, I'm going to set this up so that the platform is down. The next one is slightly back, and then I want this one, the top one, to line up with my bottom plate. All right, so I hope that's making sense. Here it is. So I'm just going to put that in there and make sure that it's lined up okay. And then this one lines up with my base plate. And then that's going to go through. It doesn't matter which way. If you're right-handed or left-handed, you can use either hand to turn your handle. It's not going to matter. That's the other thing I love about these machines, is you can be right-handed or left-handed. It does not matter a bit. Okay. Oh, my chair's squeaky, squeaky. One of these days I'm going to remember and give it some WD-40. All right, so that's looking cute. And I would like that to sit just over here. So his foot just is coming in over the top of that. So I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals. One here on the end and one down here. And this is going to go on this base piece here, but then it's going to slide up under his foot. There we go. It's looking cute. I think it's going to need some bling. Absolutely, it is going to need some bling. And we have got some gorgeous balmy blue bling, which I think will work really, really well. And I'm going to use that. I'll pop some up here. This is from the adhesive back pastel gems, I believe is what they're called. They're just lovely. And I do wonder, I haven't got you guys to ask me tonight, but I'm deciding whether it should have some ribbon. So one possibility would be the good old seam binding ribbon. We could make this any color. We could color it blue, balmy blue if we wanted to, or I could leave it white, or we could not have it at all. But seeing as I can't ask you because we're not live, I'm thinking maybe see, it does look really cute with the ribbon, doesn't it? But do we want white? That is the question. Do we want white, or do we want blue? Maybe the blue will stand out more. I've got some white here which we can You guys can let me know and I'll have a look later and I'll make the changes as necessary. All right, so that's how the white one will look. It's very pretty. It's nice. But if we want to go blue, it's easy to colour these ribbons. So I've got some balmy blue. I've got light balmy blue and dark balmy blue. And these are really nice to colour. Your blends are fabulous for colouring ribbon. Now there's a bit of difference. I want to show you the difference in the colour. So the dark, see, that's gonna go beautifully. Actually, I might just stick with the dark because I think it's not too dark. So I'm just going to colour my ribbon by sliding my brush tip end. There's a brush end and a thin end, okay, like a writing end. So I'm just going to colour this. And it goes straight through to the other side. Both sides get coloured. Really easy to do. Right? And it's because blends are alcohol, blends markers are alcohol markers, so they dry straight away. So all you got to do is pop this in, tie this around. Now if I need, I might need a bit more, but let's have a look. Actually, I want to go closer to the end. Just want a little bow. I don't want a big bow. I think the blue might be the winner somehow. And all we do is we use a glue dot to stick this on. I think the blue is going to be right. The blue does look better. It stands out more. But if you want to argue or if you would like to disagree with me, you feel free, because I don't mind. If everyone thinks we should be using white, well, that's okay too. I'm just going to find a glue dot. Here's one right here. I'm going to pop my, this is how you use your glue, the easiest way to use your glue dots. Okay, you stick whatever it is you want to stick to the glue dot that is on the paper, and then you give it a really good hard press with your thumb. Then you lift it off, and the glue dot will come too. And then you stick it down. And that's how our card looks. What do you think? Do we like our card? I think it looks really good. I love the stripes. I love that the edges are all soft and watercolored. It looks really, really nice. And it's very easy to do, and it's really striking. And I hope you'll give this a go yourself. What do you think, guys? Do we like it? Don't forget, we've got Craft Along coming up in just under 2 weeks from now. We'll be doing vellum techniques. And as you can see, I add vellum to nearly everything. I love it. So we're going to use vellum in a few different ways in our class. And all the supply packs for that will be going out at either the end of this week or the very beginning of next week in time for the class online. Okay, so I'm just looking at the terrible mess I've got here on my paper. I mean, that's what happens when you use watercolors and water and inks. But let me put something under it so you can see my card better. There we go. That looks better. Look at that. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic week ahead. Thanks for coming and watching tonight. Even though I'm not here live, I'm still very much wanting to engage with you guys, and still hoping that you love it all and that you'll let me know what you think. I'd love to know what you think of this little card. I think it's a lot of fun. But you guys look after yourselves. I'll be back next Friday night. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat, or you can message me directly, and I'm very happy to answer them for you. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.